I have decoded Blake's text to Taylor complaining that Justin Baldoni said he doesn't know pop culture. Let me set the scene. It's April 2023, and Blake has just submitted her rewrite of the rooftop scene to Justin, and all he responded with was some giggles and saying, "I appreciate your passion." This was deeply hurtful to Blake, and so she decided to invite Justin over to her house for lunch. And on his way out, he was intercepted by Taylor, who had been coached to impress upon him her effusive opinion about Blake Lively's work because that's supposed to make it better somehow. Something went wrong, and they were both, or at least Blake was deeply offended. And these texts are Blake and Taylor debriefing later that evening. It's April 12th. Here's the text. The most bonkers part to me is him saying to you he doesn't know pop culture. Made me more mad than anything he's done to me. Most of us were like, girl, well, he's clearly not done anything to you, if that's worse. In reality, he hadn't done anything to her. In the timeline, at this point, all that had happened was her not getting the feedback she wanted. Some people speculated Justin was trolling by saying he didn't know pop culture. I wondered if Blake wasn't really offended and she was just saying that to sort of flatter Taylor. But upon further researching, I think she was genuinely offended. And I figured out why. Blake actually explains it later on in this conversation. She says, he's so green, he thinks that's what makes him cool enough to fit in, when in fact it's effing enthusiasm, fandom, and respect for those killing it that shows you're confident with where you are in life. Okay. Justin did not follow the proper protocol when meeting a superstar, is basically what happened. Reading this text and other writings from Blake make me feel that she was socialized into some celebrity culture that I don't know about, because I guess I know that we have a social hierarchy. I just wouldn't have known this. But I get it. She's basically saying that Justin is so inexperienced, he thinks it makes him seem cool to be unfazed by Taylor's status. But in reality, it is freely and generously praising someone who has more social power than you that makes you seem secure. This feels like the rules of the closed prestige society that we are not a part of. So knowing this framework makes the other parts of this text conversation that seem random coherent. For instance, the next text after the first one says his entire brand is disassembling toxic masculinity. He monetizes it. He does TED Talks, but he says that to you. Because Blake perceives Justin's actions as egregious and deliberate, because she's mad at him, right? Like she's really hurt and wounded, and she's casting him in a really negative light, which kind of feels like this entire lawsuit. Because of that, she's taking him not acknowledging or giving Taylor the appropriate due praise as him deliberately withholding respect from a woman. That's what this means. Later on, she says, I see it. I understand that it's opposite day with him. That was so random to me, but basically her and Taylor were discussing this, and Taylor suggests, well, maybe he thinks that telling me he doesn't know pop culture makes him cool, but it's actually the opposite. So you just have to interpret his behavior opposite. I think that might have been how the conversation went. So that's how she's taking it. She's saying it's opposite day with him, which to me explains why they make statements like he's performative, he's a misogynist, he's anti-feminist, whatever. I think it's because they have possibly decided on a different way to translate his actions. So I hope that this makes sense. It definitely, for me, explains how effusive she was in the text to Taylor, especially because they're supposed to be best friends, but also Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. When I really thought about this and thought about how it might be this secret society protocol hierarchy that we don't know about because we don't have enough money and power, I wondered if this is what they all do and we just don't know because we have never been able to read celebrities' text. And if that's the case, if they are all kind of operating in this, is this the reason everybody thanks Beyonce? In part two of this, I will go into more application of this because there's a lot I want to talk about. And I also have to talk about the Khaleesi text because I think this framework adds context. Follow me for more.